Good evening, everyone. This is Bill, WA6LDI, your net control this evening for the SOARA Tuesday Night Net. This night is held every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. local Pacific time on the South Orange Amateur Radio Association K6 SOA feeder system, consisting of 2 meters, 220, and 440 megahertz. This net is open to all licensed amateurs, and we welcome and encourage all check-ins. For further information, please visit our website at SOARA.org. That's SOARA.org. Prior to proceeding and throughout the net, we will break for emergency, priority, or echo link traffic. Do we have any emergency, priority, or echo link traffic at this time? If so, please stop now. Nothing heard? Again, this is WA6LDI and Phil, the net control station for the SOARA Tuesday Night. The news today is March 17th. Order of business for this evening's net. Announcements for the net, check-ins, and the order. Do we have any announcements for the net this evening? If so, please come now with your call sign.
W6CDT.
Good evening, Dale. Any other stations with an announcement? Okay, nothing heard. Dale, W6CDT, there with your announcement, sir.
Well, thanks, Bill, and thanks for running the net. So I just I have a couple of announcements. The first announcement is Ray, K6NOV, is looking for articles for the propagator, and since he didn't chime in and wanted to make an announcement, I'm doing it for him. So if you have something you'd like to share with your fellow SOARA member, computer-related or amateur radio-related, that would be really good. We'd appreciate it. Send him an email to k6nov@SOARA.org, and he will take care of that. And I guess that's probably my only announcement for this evening. So I will pass it back to you, Bill, W6CDT.
Thank you, Dale. W6CDT, this is WA6LDI. Any other announcements for the night? So please come now. Okay, nothing heard. We'll now have check-ins for the Tuesday evening net. Please come with your full call sign, phonetically please, and your first name. Check-ins, please come now.
Well, I was trying not to be the first one to check in, but I guess I will be. South Indy at 660 Echo.
And somebody's got to be first. E68, right? Kilo, November 6th, Alpha, Sierra, Romeo, Bjorn.
Okay, thus far we have Ray, 86H, Mike, Alpha, Echo 6, actually Alpha India 6 Hotel. Wait a minute, I'm got All right, we have Mike, we have Ray, and we have Dion, KM6ASR. Any other station?
Kilo, Oscar 6, Alpha, India, Mike.
Okay, Kilo Oscar 6, Alpha India Mike. Your name, please.
This is Ted.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Do we have any other stations wishing to check in? Please come now.
W6CDT.
And we have W6CDT. Got you in there, Dale. Any other stations? Okay, nothing heard. The discussion this evening is going to be about VHF, UHF, and also HF antennas, both for the home QTH as well as mobile. I want to thank Ray for last night's discussion about how to build dipole antennas for HF and the different formulas, so to speak, as to how to cut them to the proper length. Okay, tonight basically you have a choice. You can either identify, just like the HF antennas, you can build your own antenna for VHF, UHF, or HF, or you can purchase one either online or through HOA or wherever you want to purchase it at, online as well, as I mentioned. Okay, we have, for the HF antennas, we have a wire antenna, basically a dipole, a long wire, or any other configuration we want to make with the wiring antenna, or the loop antenna. Also, some of the various commercial enterprises that actually make some of these antennas, if you choose not to build one yourself, would be Buckmaster, Alpha Delta, Hustler, and there's quite a few others out there as well. These companies produce both vertical as well as horizontal antennas. And also, other than the vertical and horizontal antennas too, you can also build a directional antenna, which are called either Yagis or beam antennas, and they can be either vertical or horizontal, depending what band you're using, VHF, UHF, whatever. The configuration goes for both VHF, UHF, and HF. Besides the home QTH, you can also utilize an antenna for the HC. They're little rubber duck antennas, as we call them sometimes, and you can purchase those. I mean, you could probably try building one yourself. It'd be a little difficult. The best way to do it is just buy a commercial commercial antenna for your HC. And again, the rubber duck, or some of them come telescopic. Again, you have your choice as to what you want to use, and some of the companies that utilize the VHF, UHF antennas, both for the home QTH, mobile, or handhelds, would be Comet, would be one, another Tar Heel, and we also have Diamond antennas, Lawson antennas, and don't forget the duplexes. I believe Ray had mentioned those as well. You can build one yourself, or you can buy a duplex. All of these antennas and the accoutrements, so to speak, you can pick them up either online from the various amateur radio stores, or HRO, which is probably local to the majority of us listening right now. Again, for both UHF, VHF, and HF, they come in vertically polarized, horizontally polarized, and of course directional. Again, you can also contact HRO and have them send you a catalog with all of that information on there. As far as the prices, for some reason they don't put the prices on the in the catalog. They change all the time, so you can pick out what you want, or you can actually stop by the store and have one of the people there help you out. I worked there for a number of years. I enjoyed myself, but I figured it was time to retire, so here I am. Okay, let's go to the top of the list here. Dale, W6CDT. Do you have any comments? This is WA6LDI.
Yeah, Phil. Thanks for that rundown of available choices. Quite a few. So, there's specialized antennas we use for VHF. We use to build tape measure antennas for T-hunting. And some of us got the Edfong wire J-pole antenna. Real simple to build. And, we got it from him, but you can build it yourself pretty easily as well. And there's lots and lots of choices for even wire antennas on VHF and UHF. Typically, though, for those frequencies, you kind of want the James. You want stacked collinear, 5/8 wave or something like that to give you a little bit better coverage. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, W6CDT.
Well, thank you, Dale. Great information regarding the antennas. Let's go on to Ray. Ray, pick it up, sir. This is WA6LDI.
Okay, thanks, Phil. But I believe Mike was ahead of me, AI6WE. And he said he was going to be first, and that's my comment. Somebody has to be 86H.
Okay, Ray, thank you for that. I heard him in here, wasn't sure where he was actually on the list. So, Mikey, come on in and make a transmission for...
Not much to say there, Phil. And good evening to Dale and Ray and the rest of the gang out there. A little deep of a conversation tonight, so I'm just going to sit back and listen. Alpha India 6 with CXO. Back to Ray.
Well, thank you, Mike. Let me see if I have it. Yeah. I'm surprised you don't have more to say about antennas, due to the fact you work with antennas, and that's one of your businesses there, so to speak. So next go around, if you want to say anything about the antennas or answer some of the really difficult questions about them, please feel free to acknowledge there. Okay, let's go on to Ray. Ray, pick it up, sir.
Well, thanks, Phil. Thanks for running the net tonight, of course. And this is Ray, H6H. And yeah, not only can you build HF antennas, dipoles, you can make them for 2 meters, 220, 440, 900 megahertz, whatever. They get pretty tiny by that point. So dipoles aren't limited at all to HF. And of course, there's a lot of materials you can make them out of. I've seen 2-meter dipoles, for instance, made out of 2 19-inch pieces of fairly rigid wire, running in 90 degrees to each other, can be mounted vertical or horizontal. When it comes to 2 meters, for instance, repeaters in most FM is vertical polarized. However, you will find the folks down in the weak signal portion using single sideband, 2 meters, down at the bottom of the band, and they tend to run horizontally polarized. So, anyway, just the thoughts on your comments there, and you know that to me, antennas are one of the few things left that we have a lot of opportunity to build, play with, experiment with, etc. You know, in the age of everything surface mount technology and software defined and all those things, it's a little tough for the hands-on. My own alligator almost got me. Tough for the hands-on experimenter, hobbyist, do-it-yourselfer to do a lot of things with ham radio anymore, but certainly you can do it with antennas. So that's one of the things I enjoy about antennas. E6H, over to them.
Well, thank you, Ray. Really good information here on the antennas as well. Let's go on to Dion, KN6ASR, W6LVI.
Yeah, this net is a listen and learn from me. Mostly, I'm looking at AC antennas on the internet right now. But so my question is, an antenna, if you put a bigger one on an AC, like say double the size of it, is that going to reach out and pick up more signal? Is it going to send further, you know, given the power and everything else with the HG is the same? That's my question when it gets around to the echo. Back to net.
Okay, Dion. Well, as far as the rubber ducks, you're kind of limited to how long you can make them. They aren't adjustable at all. The metal ones, I'm not sure what they're actually made of, but they're telescopic. Basically, you can change the length of that as well. You can't have it very, very long. I mean, they only make it. You can fully pull out the antenna to a certain amount, and you'll still have, I'm assuming, a good SWR in your radio, but you might be able to improve the readability of the signals of the radio itself, of the receiver portion of the transmitter. So that will help a little bit, but as far as changing your output, so to speak, that won't have any effect on it. And of course, the propagation. If you're using a repeater, of course, that's the best way to go. Any other questions, Dion?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think I would change it on the factor one on this issue I'm talking on. I did take the cover off of the rubber duck, and I noticed it's got spiders, these nice looking working pieces on the inside. One of which caught my eye is looks like a copper winding, which in effect would stretch it out a little bit. And I was just wondering if making an antenna, if you keep it shorter by making it, wind it up, if that functions the same wound up like that as if it were a straight piece, back to net.
Okay, well, if you change the length of the antenna, it definitely affects the SWR, I believe, or the way it, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use, how well it operates correctly. one of those that have checked in could probably make it a little bit more easy to understand than I would. So let me see. Mike, did you want to make a comment? Okay, I guess not. Dale?
So the coil, depending on how it's created, and I suspect those antennas are short verticals essentially. Because if it's 2 meters, quarter of 2 meters is what? 50 centimeters. Is that right? No. Yeah, 50 centimeters. So that's pretty long, right? So it might be a quarter wave. It could be. But anyway, the idea there of that coil is probably to physically shorten it, but make it look electrically like it's the same length. And the word Phil was searching for, I think, was efficiency. But electrically, an antenna that's been lengthened by putting a loading coil at its base or in the middle or wherever you put it, isn't probably going to radiate as efficiently as a full-size piece of wire. But on the other hand, with an ADT, you really don't necessarily want a real omnidirectional pattern. You really kind of want a donut. And so, maybe they're doing something and making it an electrically shortened 5/8 wave or something like that. So, yeah, you need antenna modeling software to really figure it out. W16.
Well, thank you, Dale. Really appreciate your assistance there. And Dion, does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, it answers it very much so. Much appreciated. KN6 ASR back to net.
Okay, thank you, Dion. Let's hear from Ted. Kilo Oscar 6, Alpha India Mike. Pick it up, sir. Teddy, you still with us? KO6AIM, WA6LDI. Okay, nothing heard. Mikey, you still with us?
I was in the kitchen, raiding the freezer for a bowl of ice cream after dinner.
Oh, well, don't forget to share. I wonder if it's vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry. He probably has his mouth full anyway. Alrighty, let's go on to Ray. Alpha Delta 6 Alpha Whiskey Echo, I believe. This is WA6LDI.
You're calling Alpha Echo 6 Hotel, Phil?
Yeah, I sure am. Sorry about that. I tell you, I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. Okay, Ray, please pick it up.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Phil. I thought probably, but it wasn't really my call. Anyways, as far as Dion's question, I thought he used the word thick. Is that correct on the rubber ducky antenna that came with his HT? I'll go, if I can, go direct with Dion, just to confirm that one point.
Yeah, so please be so, Ray.
No, Ray, I don't think I said thick. Yeah, I took I flipped the cover off of the rubber duck, and I saw the winding inside. Well, yeah, relatively thick, little copper winding in there. It looked like it might be like a 1/16 of an inch in diameter. So I took the cover off. I was like, wow, I could see that copper coil in there. Back to you, Ray.
Okay, thanks. Affectionately, the stock antennas that come with HDs are known as dummy load. And of course, the dummy load is something that's designed to absorb signal and not radiate it very well. Use it for testing radios and things where you're not putting a bunch of crap out in the air. Well, sometimes those antennas work the same way. As Phil pointed out, made it to make the radio think it's electrically longer, so you have a suitable SWR. And of course, it's a dual multiband radio. I don't intimately know the radio that you mentioned, but it's probably a dual band, 2 meter 440. So that antenna has to be compromised to work on both. Or I can say, even though perhaps they will tell you a couple of, that all those antennas are electrically as efficient and all these things. Real world, they are not. And it's a reason for Firewatch, where people are working in remote areas trying to reach repeaters, typically, or even simplex, but typically repeaters. we recommend they get one of the 19-inch or so long dual band antennas that resonates much better and therefore and are much more efficient transmitting, and they're not very expensive. So, I think the $25 range, I haven't shopped in a while. But the downside is they are a little cumbersome. You have to watch out not to poke yourself in the eye and that sort of thing with 18 to 19 inch piece of, fairly stiff but springy wire. This comprises the antenna. But it's whenever you coil it up, electrically it helps, but physically not so much. So again, an ideal antenna is quarter wave length for each band for HD at least. Anyway, I hope that helps. I think you will find if you're having issues reaching your favorite repeaters, etc., other than trying to move and find sweet spots, you can also try one of the aftermarket longer antennas. I'll say a little more about aftermarket antennas, though, next go around. 86H over to next.
So thank you, Ray. 86H on the group, WA6LVI. Do we have any other stations wishing to check in at this time? If so, please come now with your call.
Kilo 6, Hotel Engine Series. Hey.
Oh, good evening, Canute. Have you logged in now, sir? K6HIV. Any other station? Okay, nothing heard. Ted, did you want to make a comment to KO6AIM, WA6LVI? Okay, nothing heard. Canute, the topic this evening basically is antennas both for HF and VHF, UHF, the different types of configurations, how they're used, and that sort of thing, and basically which one would you prefer with whatever band that you want to work. So K6HIV, this is WA6LVI.
Thank you. I appreciate that. DC226, I do some good for downtown. Also, Santa Margarita. And I've been copying the mail here, so I'll throw in my 2 cents on the question. Only all I do is a little different. The information we've been given is all correct, but I want to give a little more basic knowing where you are in your studies of electronics.
The longer the antenna, the more radio waves it's going to pick up. That is, the more energy from the radio waves in the atmosphere it's going to pick up. That's why it's telling you this long wire antenna. The next important thing is the SWR. So that the antenna should be some resonance, some length of resonance frequency you want to watch. And the antenna is actually an inductor. If you calculate the inductance of the straight piece of wire, and so if you have an antenna that's say on 40 meters, just the length of that, and find out what the inductance is. Now, the important part of it, though, is called the resistance, and that actually is the amount of energy that is leaving the antenna. So it looks like a resistance to the circuit, because once you have just a resistor, the resistor is going to get warm or hot, depending on how much energy you're putting in, and depending upon the resistance. So the radiating energy off the antenna actually looks like resistance to the transmitter. So you got two things there, inductance and resistance. Now, inductance is the same thing because get over, and I'm off the top of my head now, I don't have all of them, but yeah, I'll let you know if I, who you, that's not just theory. So this is just theory, but relative to the length of the antenna, I'd better be more. Relative to the length of the antenna way, it starts out inductive, but when it's detached, and I don't remember now whether it's a half weight or quarter weight, it flips over to capacitive. And so, as with any circuit, you have resistance, inductance, and capacitance. And at the resonance point, this is induction, inductance, and capacitance cancel, and all the radio sequences to resistance, radiation resistance, I'll call it, get it out of there. One, and I'm almost done. So if you were to have an antenna, 3/4 wave at some frequency, and you cut out 12 inches just to shorten the antenna. Well, you'd actually, that's a certain amount of inductance. You'd have to replace that inductance. And our formula in the ARRL manual and other books on electronics, that will tell you how to calculate the inductance that you replace. And it depends on whether you're cutting out in somewhere in between the beginning where it's connected to the transmitter. So that inductance that you put in there, you see, you don't 12 inches, it just changes, just calculated out. But that's all. Rubber ducks are almost all inductance. That's in there. So they would set up for 2 inches to be 19 inches long when you replace it with a 6-inch rubber duck. That's done by adding a lot of, relatively speaking, a lot of inductance. Anyway, hopefully I haven't confused you. The whole thing is that the length of the antenna is essentially, if you want to cut a piece out more, you want to cut a length out of the length of the antenna, you have to replace it with some induction. But that induction doesn't pick up much of the incoming signal, so you lose a little sensitivity when you shorten the antenna. So almost anything you do to get something, you have to pay something. To get a shorter antenna, it's not going to be as good as very sensitive. So it's always a trade-off. Doesn't seem to be hurting us at all here on this first piece of ice going through the repeater. Anyway, hopefully that helps. If I can, kind of answer it where you go in. So that's kind of the real basic stuff. The other guys were giving you is accurate, 100%, hopefully very helpful, and it's more in the fictional language. I can, K6HIV, back connection home, and easy still. Well, thank you, Knut. K6HIV Emmett Group, this is WA6LDI. Alrighty, well, Dion, did that answer your question? The KN6ASR, WA6LDI?
Yes, it does. Everyone's answers have been helping me understand. And Knut, that was very good with the inductance and capacitance, what was the resistance. I've listened, and it's really helped me understand what I've been reading about in electronics. Much thanks. Shout out to the Rancho Santa Margarita Knut. KN6ASR back to there.
Okay, Dion, glad we're able to assist you with that. Let me pause here. Do we have any emergency or priority traffic before we proceed? So please come out. Okay, nothing heard. Let's go to the top of the list. W6CDT. Dale.
Thank you, Bill. Great explanations. Knut, very good. Much better than, much much more understandable with a lot less buzzwords than the whole notion of capacitive versus inductive and that sort of stuff. I guess the only thing I would add is, at the end of the day, making an HT antenna better than a backstreet antenna is kind of hard. The packaging is a little bit difficult, and as I think Ray or somebody else said, the HT antenna is largely a dummy load designed to not irritate the heck out of the PA finals in the radio, but it's not by any means a very good antenna. The antennas we have on our cars are a little bit better, and of course the ones we have on our houses are even better. So it's all an antenna is a compromise, almost always. And with that, I'll pass it back to Phil at W6DVG and go one more round.
Okay, well, thank you, Dale. Alrighty, let's see. Mikey, you still with us? South 76 Whiskey Echo? Okay, I guess not. So, Ray, 86H.
Oh, thank you, Bill. And this is Ray, 86H. And first of all, let's say we definitely recommend aftermarket antennas almost always over the factory supplied, quote-unquote, dummy load. Perhaps the A2 antennas are a little bit better. I'm not sure. I've had them. I've not been all that impressed. And of course, there is no magic antenna, as Dale pointed out. But generally speaking, the longer the radiator, the better the range. Length is not so important for receiving. And of course, there's this whole saying, ham radio, if you can't hear them, you can't work them. So receiving is very important. However, since you don't want to keep swapping the antenna every time, between transmit and receive, you need a resonant antenna, but you want, in my opinion, the most efficient operation for the best. Let's break that down into the longest range and the best ability to receive those distant repeaters or stations. You want the longest antenna you can find that is resonant and provides a resonant 50 ohm load to your radio. And again, that's where for the 2-meter 440 range, there's some 18 to 19 inch more. The reason I break it, my radio alligator tries to get me 18 or 19 inch antennas, and they're going to be much more efficient for you than the 6 inch or so one that you came with your radio. You know, like many things, size matters. Anyway, that's why there are a number of counterfeit antennas out there. Now, the good brands are Comet, Diamond, Nagoya is an excellent brand. However, Nagoya in particular seems to be susceptible to counterfeit. So there's a website called Miklor.com. That's Miklor, Mike India Kilo Lima Oscar Romeo.com. And run by a guy named John Lambertine and Ham, and he goes by John Miklor for some reason. But he has a number of YouTubes out there. They're all very good. He likes to do analysis on usually handheld radios, and but some mobiles, and of course radio antennas and things. And he has a section on how to identify counterfeit antennas, and particularly Nagoya. So, make sure that you're buying from a reputable source when you buy that upgrade handheld antenna if you choose to do so. And that would be, make sure you aren't getting a counterfeit, because the counterfeits don't perform any better, maybe not even as well as the stock dummy load that the manufacturers provide. So, check out Miklor.com, and the whole section is a pull down on antennas. You can go there, and he'll tell you, how to identify counterfeit antennas by their packaging and their brand logoing and that sort of thing. And he has a whole list of Nagoya antennas, for instance, and the 17.7 inch 320 tri-band, 2 meters, 220, 440. So that's always a good one to know. And it's kind of interesting to see what he recommends And so far, he's been pretty much right on the money, in my experience. Anyway, McClure.com, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is going to be my 7th big round, everybody. I'll be listening out. This is 86H over the net.
Okay, thank you, Ray. 86H and the Groove, WA6LDI. Very, very good. All right, let me see if we have any later mix people who want to check in. Anyone else wishing to check in for the SOARA Tuesday Night Net? If so, please come now with your call. Okay, nothing heard. Time for the 73 round. So let's bring up W6EDT to pick it up. This is WA6LDI.
Well, thank you, Phil. And, yep, great net tonight. Great, a lot of notes passed around. That's what it's all about. Anyway, W6EDT will take 73 all and pass it back to net. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Dale. Let's go on to Dion, KN6ASR.
Well, first of all, thanks for running the net, Phil. It's a good one. Thanks to everybody for their input on the questions I was wondering about the dual band-aid scheme. And I will wait for I'll sign into one of the Saturday Tech Necks for the future, because I'll be having questions about the HF antennas next. So thanks again to everyone. 7-3 and 6 ASR back to net.
Okay, you're very welcome, Dion. All pleasure. Let's go on to Canute, K6HID.
Well, I've never had a chance to answer your first question. Which antenna do I prefer? So I'm going to go ahead and jump in on that, and then I'll close with 7-3. I like the plain dipole. I've had the 25 RV Junior, and it works extremely well for me. In my limited advantage neighborhood, can't get anything up more than about 15 feet. I filled a couple of plain, wire dipole. I used to stretch across the parking lot where I worked after hours. No, each of four. That was the old term, I guess. Any rate, I just do dipoles. And I love Ray's presentation last night. And one of the things he commented on, you said almost. You always have to say almost. You said almost thing. Always, never, say always, never. Anyway, every antenna is basically a dipole. So, almost. Somebody will tell me what to do. At any rate, so I really appreciate that tonight. It's fun and extremely informative, like the meeting last night. So, 7-3, 6-8, back to you, Phil, and the look to the club money.
Okay, very good there, Canute. Thank you so much. Alrighty, well, I want to thank everyone for checking in this evening. It's been a pleasure as always. And we look forward to having an eyeball QSO with you guys here sometime soon. So 73, take care, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk again soon. This is WA6LDI Net Controls for the SOARA Tuesday Night Net. The net is now closed, and the repeaters are returned to normal use. 73 all, and thanks again.